Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's scary that it can be put into anything, and we can't even see it or notice it.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome in to Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lophom. We'll talk with our meteorologist Gabe Maynard coming up here in a couple minutes, looking at some of your pictures of some of these beautiful showers out there. But showers and thunderstorms are on the increase, one of the main things that we are looking at as we go into this evening forecast. So a couple things, obviously, we're watching the showers out there, and a few of these are a little stronger. You can see actually one of those in the background of our camera in Tupelo, actually bouncing around a little bit, looking toward that. We'll zoom in on that with Mississippi Live Weather Radar here in a minute. Those storms firing up this evening, and we expect temperatures are going to start climbing in extended forecast, partially due to the fact that rain chances come down a little bit, especially by the weekend. And that's, I think, one of the big factors folks are hoping for. We don't go completely dry, but the rain chances still pretty spotty. Hopefully your outdoor activities are okay from that, but again, we can't completely kick the rain habit out of here. One shot there, as you can see toward Tupelo, related to that camera you see in the background there. A same storm, but we're looking at it from Smithville. You can actually see it kind of the corner of the screen there, kind of there's Tupelo, there's Smithville, and obviously between there. It's forming on a boundary we talked about during our 5 o'clock broadcast. It's kind of just has the air convergent, and that's going to continue to, I think, have an upswing of thunderstorms. Next couple hours here, severe weather not expected out of these. Greenville, an example of the opposite end of the spectrum, just some puffy clouds, but dry. As you can see, clearly dry there at that latest scan. Feels like 99 degrees. As we look over the next 12 hours at 7 p.m., rain coverage still 20, maybe 30% or so. We might actually have to take that up just a little bit. A couple of those not impossible, but probably less than 10% by 10 p.m. And as we go into the overnight hours, 74, 1 o'clock in the morning, we're probably down around the low 70s to begin the first part of your morning on your Fridays. We're wrapping up this work week. Look at the latest here at Mississippi Live Weather Radar. Again, not a lot of activity for a good chunk of the day, but then some of those thunderstorms are starting to pop up in just the last little bit here. If you will click analysis mode for me over there, I appreciate that, Gabe. We're going to kind of do some analysis on some of these thunderstorms, and we're going to start kind of working east and then work our way back to the north and west. So we do have a few of these out here toward Lamar County, right along 278. We're going to put this into motion here. Look at a 1 hour loop. This green line that you see there is kind of the story for all of these thunderstorms. As has been the case a good chunk of this week, we've had these boundaries like this, these outflow boundaries. I can trace on a couple more as well. But the main one here is the one that's becoming more active and continuing to produce more in the way of those showers and thunderstorms. So let's look a little closer at some of these. Again, the one near 278, that one has no movement on it yet, just now popping up. But that's the thing, when it starts showing up on here, it's actually usually a heavier precipitation aloft. And that's the reason I just like looking at 3D looks on these thunderstorms so much more, is because you can actually see what's going on aloft before it makes it down to the surface. You'll note here a couple of these right there, that one near Guin. If you look closer at that, I'm going to come in a little too close for a moment, but this kind of proves a point here for a second. If you look at the ground on this, right? See, that's just yellows there, as we're kind of all the way in on it. That's because the heaviest precipitation with that is actually still aloft. So yeah, you can see right there. So that's one of those signs that these thunderstorms, as they, show up on radar, a lot of times they don't look impressive, even though they might look impressive in real life there. So watching a few others here, again, that one near Solgent we were looking at, another one's kind of falling apart there north of Detroit. But in Itawamba County in particular, we have a few more of these that are a little bit heavier and a lot more lightning on that one there, pretty close to and just south of the Fulton area. We'll kind of bring it into the current scan, and I'll go back again 3D on this here for just a moment. You can see this storm extending up a little bit higher, and this is one of them that may be just flirting with strong levels. Best way to do that is to slice through this thunderstorm there. And yeah, see that? How the most intense precipitation, almost 30,000 feet, right over top of the Cardsville area. So the heaviest of that hasn't fallen down yet. But as it does, I mean, I do think that especially we start looking at that area right there, we could possibly have a little bit of hail. Now, how impressive is that hail? That always is kind of the next question that we then have to, ask related to this. And that's one of the ways we use our threats graphic here. It allows us to see that in that area, kind of in the middle there where you see the blue near Beans Ferry, could potentially have perhaps 1 inch hail. Now, I think not a lot of that, but that also could be a concentration of a few stronger wind gusts in that area as well. So you'll notice here kind of on the wider shot, we have multiple spots where we do have a possibility of maybe some hail. There's also that location kind of north and east of the Guntown area where we also depict that. Let's bring it back to kind of the normal mode on a Mississippi Live Weather Radar, the precipitation mode, and showing that the intense precipitation doesn't look as impressive there, because I will bet you that that's probably looking a little heavier aloft. So we'll look at that here in a minute. Let's get a storm track though first on this Fulton storm. We didn't get you exact track on that a moment ago. And this is the thing. See how it's just, barely moving toward the east and southeast. It might be only going about 5 miles per hour because it's tracking right along that boundary. So while I give you a track in here, okay, we'll say 15 to give it a little extra movement. I don't have any location specifically showing up on that, but I think this is still set for the larger city name size on it. If we kind of bring it in a little closer here for just a moment, again, south of Tremont near Academy, moving there near Tilden as well, within probably the next 10 to 15 minutes as that kind of slides toward you. So heavy rainfall, maybe some hailstones with that. I do think as it collapses, some maybe 35, 40 mile per hour wind gusts possible. These storms from Tishmingo back toward Guntown there, moving southeast at 20. Gabe, if you'll use the squall track on there, because that's something you can do better over on that computer, let's go and track that, including Tishmingo back toward Marietta and Saltillo there. And actually continue that arc just a little bit to the west of that as well. Yeah, no, that's fine. And we'll go about 20, 25, we'll say. Yeah, that might be pushing it on the speed there. So as you can see, the times there, we're looking at Tishmingo pretty much now as we go to the latest scan on that. So I'll click now for that. 6:14 there, Neal, Kirkville about 6:15. We're looking at Dennis at 6:23, Bloody Springs about 6:26 there, Pogo close to about 6:35, and Belmont 6:38. Again, this is probably below severe limits, but there's some lightning. If you're outside, obviously some impacts potentially there on those storms. As we look up here toward New Albany, we're going to actually check out our camera there in Blue Springs for a moment, kind of looking through some of those. I do think that we probably are pretty close to in the rainfall there. Yeah, you can see some of the darker clouds, some of the rainfall showing up on this portion here. I'll see if this will let me zoom in. Now, you'll have to use the mill and kind of zoom in there with your mouse if you could, Gabe. And so there's some of the rainfall, moderate rainfall really at most with that as we're looking back toward the north and west out of our camera in Blue Springs. It's 88 degrees there, feels like 95, of course. Showers yet to probably hit officially that reporting station there. As we look up here toward New Albany and Myrtle, again, moderate rainfall, same thing back for Oxford. Again, below severe limits. We'll put this back into motion again for you here, kind of give you the overall loop. But there again, this has been the story of the week. This boundary that just kind of acts kind of like a front extending here, and that's why it's kind of lit up with more storms back toward Myrtle. And then out here in the northwest part of the state, these were definitely a little bit more impressive just a few minutes ago. We'll go back to the Memphis radar in this case, and the precipitation mode out of that one. And yeah, these are definitely a little bit more of a collapsing phase at this time. 3D look definitely shows that as well. Let's go 3D on that. As we're kind of watching that Byhalia, Hernando there, Senatobia. And look how much heavier those were. I mean, that was probably borderline severe, maybe some 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts possible out of that one there as it kind of moved through. Okay, Gabe, I think we'll go back over, well, let me actually look at the whole area one more time here, just to kind of assess everything. Yeah, not a lot of activity farther south related to this. Thankfully, that means not a lot in the way of more significant, stronger thunderstorms. I know some folks probably still looking for a little bit of precipitation out there, and certainly going to probably be seeing somewhat more of that over the course of the next couple of days. So let's go ahead and go back over to the show player mode on that, and we'll kind of pick things up there where we left off. As you can see, the kind of wider shot shows not a lot of really active weather in really any region near this section here of the state. As we kind of widen things a bit more here, Gabe, you'll have to give me wide on this if you can. I wanted to get that front up there. There we are. And so that's as close as any cold fronts are to us. Obviously, the answer is not particularly close as we look ahead. So As you'll notice here, future tracker, we continue to have our spotty showers and any more significant and active weather staying largely away from us. So we'll continue to have at least a few of those into the northern part of the state within the next couple of hours here, gradually diminishing 9, 10 o'clock into this evening, into the overnight hours. So from 6 a.m. tomorrow, we're 73, 79 by 9 a.m. We're 89 degrees as we head toward noon under what should be, again, increasing rain chances tomorrow afternoon around 40%, 86 by 6 p.m. and 79 as we go into the evening time period. Light winds, a lot of ways, similar forecast to where we have been once again for today. Now, coming up in 60 seconds, we're going to look in more detail at that weekend forecast ahead. We are seeing at least a little bit of a trend, hopefully down. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynard looking into that as Mississippi Live Weather at 6 continues right after this.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Dijimos que nunca romperíamos la regla de los 3 segundos. Nunca haríamos esto. Y nunca nos convertiríamos en una mamá con minivan. Como padres decimos nunca sobre muchas cosas, pero los nunca a veces suceden. Así que, aunque digas que nunca dejarías a tu hijo en un auto caliente, es algo que puede suceder. Antes de alejarte del auto, siempre para. Mira, cierra.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynard.
Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynard. Big thank you to our chief meteorologist Matt Lopon walking us through the storm tracks. A lot of activity right now, but fortunately for folks that are receiving that rainfall, some of that rain-cooled air is taking place. 83 in Holly Springs comparing to just one county over, 90 degrees there, Tippah, Benton, and even Union County. 85 Boonville, 80 in Iuka. So there is some blessing with these showers, not just in the needed rainfall, but also with that rain-cooled air. But I want you to take a look at the feels like values, and it is a big difference from what we saw even 24 hours ago, showing that warming trend taking place. An 8-degree difference in Boonville, 11 up around Corinth, 3 Senatobia, 5 Clarksdale, 4 right around Cleveland. So it is gradual, but it is happening, and that's going to continue happening into the next 24, 48, 72, and even 7 days. Our Mississippi Live Weather Radar continues to show that activity, primarily remaining up in the northern part of the state, right there north of Highway 6. That's where we're seeing the primary threats for those showers and thunderstorms, like our chief meteorologist Matt Lopon was walking us through earlier. These boundaries guiding those showers, keeping those relatively up north. So for folks down around the Golden Triangle, should be staying dry through at least the majority of our evening. Now, rain chances will diminish gradually through the rest of our evening, 20% there by 9. By midnight, we're seeing mostly dry conditions, and those dry conditions in place into the start of our Friday as well. But taking a look at our futurecast right here, just walking us through the next 12 hours or so, you can see that isolated activity continues to develop, but weakens beyond that sunset time frame. So 8:30 p.m., beyond that point, just lacking the heating mechanism for that to continue, and we'll see those slowly die out. By the time we get towards the overnight hours, yes, maybe 1-2 storms possible, but overall, for 90-95% of us, staying dry overnight. Towards the early hours of our Friday, still remaining right along the Tennessee state line, seeing that isolated shower right there. That's the primary threshold for those more That's the primary threshold for those more the way, being that it is 5, 6 o'clock, right around that same time frame. But high temperatures where the rain is not happening, we're seeing low to mid 90s in some spots, but heat indices back into the triple digits for a lot of folks. Rain-cooled air keeping some temperatures at bay, but still just going to be the hot, muggy day that's expected in July. Keeping things going into our Friday evening, those cells fizzle on out, and then we'll see drier conditions in place as we head into our Friday evening. But into our Saturday morning, those dry conditions don't stick around forever, but they are trending a bit in the drier direction. So fortunately, we are continuing to see a downtrend, at least for our weekend forecast. Here's a look at our 12 o'clock time frame by Saturday, that noontime area still looking mostly dry, but I want to point out this is one of our more aggressive models, but a lot of those rain chances remain along the Alabama state line, transitioning more east. So I really don't foresee a lot of showers and thunderstorms happening for the bulk of North Mississippi. Still seeing a few, but not widespread like what it has been. Those continue to linger around towards 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and by 10, we're seeing those dry conditions in place again for all of us, even those isolated cells clearing on out. So Sunday sees more of the same with those isolated afternoon chances, but still very limited. But I want to pay attention to temperatures, and I've been pushing that a lot this forecast because they're important over the next 7 days. Mid-90s for our Saturday afternoon, but heat indices seeing a lot more triple digits on that screen, just a sign of the warming trend that will be happening. So high temperatures over the next 7 days, low 90s for today and for Friday, transitioning mid-90s by the start of the week, and maybe even upper 90s latter part of next week. That gradual warming trend over the next several days. Heat indices follow that same trend. Take a look at that right here. Seeing maybe triple digits for some spots this afternoon, well into the triple digits Friday, and we're teetering right around along that 105-degree heat indice for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and for your Thursday. So dangerous heat is definitely on the horizon. Not surprising this time of year, but definitely something we need to be paying attention to. And one of the things that our Chief Meteorologist Matt Lavan walked us through earlier at Mississippi Live Weather at 5 was this graphic right here, the wet bulb globe temperature. Extreme values are possible along the Mississippi Delta for your Friday afternoon, whereas a lot of us in that moderate level. So not going to see too much extreme heat unless you are in the Mississippi Delta, but that builds more and more as each day passes. Saturday afternoon, that extreme level covering more surface area, so expecting more of that extreme heat, and that continues to remain right along that same region by Sunday afternoon. So it's definitely an area we're paying attention to, and definitely something that we're going to need to prepare for. Staying cool, staying hydrated, and of course taking frequent breaks. Those are essential over the next 7 days, especially whenever we're getting to those temperatures in the mid-90s at the start of next week. So rain gear, make sure to keep that around. Even though we are seeing some diminishing chances for your weekend, still at least some chances are possible. I want to emphasize that, even with the downtrend, but they pick up back again next week. Temperatures pick up back again next week, back to the mid-90s, so it's going to be another active 7 days, unfortunately. Rain gear is still needed. Now, speaking of rain, we are still dealing with showers and thunderstorms in the area. Our weather watchers out in the field submitting their pictures. We'll air those here in the next 60 seconds. And of course, our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Laupon, will join us for more on storm tracking and just what exactly is happening with these storms in North Mississippi. Well, maybe. Technical difficulties. Hang on.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. They can connect with the world around them, unlock endless possibilities, and thrive. Join the movement to end hunger. Volunteer. Advocate. Donate. Go to feedingamerica.org/act now.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Thank you for sticking with us at Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We wanted to show you a few of the weather watchers' pictures out in the field. Kaylee and Wheeler submitting this picture, and just take a look at that base. A little bit of a shelf with those isolated thunderstorms that are developing there towards Wheeler and primarily just across North Mississippi. Prentiss County, not the only one seeing it. Dustin there in Burton getting a great shot right underneath the thunderstorm, probably getting a good downpour as well. I do want to point out, because my eyes were fixated to it, that tree is not being blown over with this wind. Wind's definitely not that strong, but adds a visual element to it as well. But just a typical Summer thunderstorm, that's what we're seeing here this afternoon. And a great shot of the structure there in Reform. Jason submitting this picture. And you can see just the vertical lift that we're seeing with a few of these thunderstorms causing that heavy downpour underneath, lots of lightning, and especially when some of those strikes reaching down to the ground, they definitely bring quite the boom. So Matt, this is something that we've been watching all afternoon, definitely on the uptick right now. So now's the time folks need to be weather aware.
Yeah, they do. And, a lot of locations have been in pretty good shape here across North Mississippi today. There have been some reports of a few more issues up there into Tennessee. As we bring it back here over to Mississippi Live Weather Radar. Reports out of the National Weather Service have obviously some street flooding issues out of this, which always tends to happen in this situation. Bring it over here to the Memphis radar to kind of take a look at that here for a second. Some reports up here closer to the Memphis area, in particular near Collierville, in our chat with the National Weather Service, of at least some minor street flooding there. But that's about as significant as any of the reports that we have had across the region for today. Thankfully, anytime that's as bad as it gets, we're in pretty good shape. We'll kind of start northwest, work our way southeast, and then probably wrap things up. We'll have a treat for you at the end. I think we're going to test our battery backup stuff here and just see what goes offline. Might as well do it with an opportunity to do that. So we'll do that come up here in a couple minutes. So up here toward Ingram's Mill, Alphaba there, and back toward around Coldwater. These showers not terribly fast moving and not a lot of lightning strikes, only about 30 lightning strikes over the course of the last half hour. As we kind of track these, they're not particularly fast. I mean, I would say maybe 15, we'll say 18 miles per hour. I'll give you some times there in the Holly Springs. Looking at that, getting to Hudsonville about 6:34 there. And where are we at? Holly Springs about 6:44 for you, Marianne, about 6:55. Assuming it doesn't pick up a little speed there. Snow Lake Shores, always one of my favorite names in the entire area there at about 7 o'clock. Widen it out. A few of those spotty showers out here closer to Senatobia and back there in the general vicinity of Sledge, but those are relatively weak. We'll check out our camera. We do have one there back there close to the Crenshaw area. As that pops on here, you can see some of those showers there kind of just out, I believe, a little bit to what that'd be the east. We're looking kind of southeast there at 105 degrees. So a lot of moderate rainfall with that. But I mean, you can even see underneath that one a sign that it's not super duper heavy at this point and time. We've got to clear that out for a moment here and look back toward Oxford. We've had a few showers in and around there the last couple of days, still showing a few kind of east there toward Denmark, one near the Darden community and Enterprise. But look how little these are moving. I mean, right there over Etta, just sitting there. And that's the thing, when that happens, that's when you start to kick out some of those heavier rainfall totals. When we check the rainfall rate on that, it's fairly significant over the last little bit here, where you see some of the pinks and purples. And that's where we end up getting maybe some extremely localized flooding. If you do have those reports, you can send those in on our Facebook chat here. One of the things that we're looking at about the rainfall rate at 7 inches an hour. That's pretty significant there. Rainfall total over the last hour plus, showing up last 3 hours actually. Let's see if we can get that to kind of plot on the screen there. 1.6, almost 1.7 inches. So that tells you that when we show you some of those rainfall totals, what you could potentially see, obviously in very isolated areas like what you have out there closer to Byhalia, more than 2 inches, you can get some pretty hefty little amounts showing up there. Back to the rainfall mode on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. Looking at here toward Guntown and Blue Springs, kind of showing some of those showers. And this entire batch here on one of those outflow boundaries we talked about off the top of the broadcast there's that rain-cooled air heading southeastward. And that's what's really caused it to kind of blow up there close to Pratt's. Is if we also look closely, you can see just another little boundary there. So the intersection of those kind of slapping together like two waves on a pond. As they come together, they build it a little higher, and that's kind of what's happened in this situation. So we bring it here, the latest scan. I do think this one's worth going 3D on just to make sure it's not hiding something else up higher. Maybe hiding is the wrong word for it, but you get the sense just how high it is. And so as we slice on into and through this, I want to double check the height of this as well. Yeah, see, that's what I was concerned about. We have a couple spots here, and I don't think this is going to let me query something that's up there in the clouds. Now, I'm going to have to go back and reslice it, so give me a second to do that. There we are. So as we slice that there's just a couple of spots aloft right about there. We have some really kind of bright returns. And when that happens, I do think that's a possibility you could have some hailstones up there. At the very least, it's really heavy rainfall. So we'll see if it'll show us over time the movement of that up within it. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's still kind of in a building phase. So the heaviest of this has yet to drop there, just south and west of Marietta. Probably a little bit of hail showing up in that. So be on the lookout for that within the next little bit here. Take it back to 2D mode and clear that off for a second. So that is what we are kind of tracking. And I don't think that's moving particularly fast. Again, putting that back in play and then tracking this ahead. We show, again, near Marietta, Vale, and Kirkville there in the Ozark community. I will say, you know what? Reasonable to say 20 miles an hour on that. I think that's about as fast as anything has moved. So we show Kirkville at 627 there as we bring it to the latest scan. We're looking at about Unity at 632, 635 there, Hasdale, Ratliff at 636, Ozark at 640, and 642 Sandy Springs. But if it's going to produce or drop that hail, I think Kirkville, Ozark, more likely to probably see that bit of hail that we were looking at aloft there. Checking some cameras around, and we'll get a shot here. I think may have a decent one from Pontotoc of some of this. We'll check the camera. We're actually looking toward the southwest there. So what we're going to do is we're going to swing that one around. If you give me just a moment here, kind of bring that back around toward the north. It's going to take me just a second. I actually want to go northeast on that. So as we do, let's see if the presets are there. Yeah, we can do. Let's go northwest, and that'll get me started. Moving that way. So, in fact, we swung right past it. So let me take it back a little bit to the east there. But that's that Blue Springs storm, and then we're looking back closer to that Ozark one we were looking at a minute ago. And notice how tall that is there. How kind of extended. I got to move out of the way, and unfortunately, we're looking through a tower, but that just happens sometimes. But you can see like how strong that is kind of built up there. So I think it is still in a strengthening phase with it, and kind of an interesting look on the bottom there on the backside. We'll go back and forth here for just a second because we're looking a fairly decent distance away. Let me pan this a little bit that way as I got a little too quirky on how fast I did that there. And so that's looking, actually, I take that back. That is looking more toward the storm that's up there, closer to New Albany. So that would actually be your Blue Springs storm. So let's swing this around a little farther east and see if we can catch the storm that is, see, it's behind the tower. That would be the one that's up there, closer to the Ozark community. So I'm gonna swing this back toward Blue Springs, and we'll get it to where it's not looking at as much tower here. And let's change cameras for it. We'll look Tupelo, and I think we're gonna be looking through a tower on this one as well. So you give me just a moment to bring this up. And looking in Tupelo here, we will see if we can get a shot of it. Actually, they've already got it, looking northeast. Those North Mississippi storm chasers, they're on it. Sometimes cloud chasers on these cameras. And there's the heavier precipitation. And there's that storm where it's really kind of developed out there. I'm going to make sure we're as wide as we can go on this shot. We are. And then I'm going to kind of pan it up a little bit so you can kind of get a good shot of that there. I can tell now that storm is probably a little past its peak and more likely to be starting to drop some of the hail. A couple reasons for that. Let's go ahead and clear off the camera list there. And you see how that has just more of a little light gray sort of look to it? I think that's some of the hail that could be mixing in with the heavier rainfall. But if you look up here toward the top, you see how fuzzy this is? That's nice and sharp. Good contrast building up. This is still bubbling up on the backside here. Sometimes we call that the flanking line into one of these where anyway, that's what we call the flanking line. But out here, this is a little fuzzier. That means it's already shot up as high as it's going to go, and now it's beginning that collapsing phase. So one of those signs that is probably, as you can see with the radar picture, if I get out of the way there, so we're looking out up toward that. So the heaviest portion right about there is probably going through a little bit of a collapsing phase and letting some of those larger hailstones probably fall out of it at this time. So again, that's probably, I think, what's going on with that. Times there on your screen, as you can see, still valid versus where they were just a little bit ago. Let's bring it back here again to current time. Let's go ahead and clear this back down to the lowest scans on Mississippi Live Weather Radar. And as we kind of clear everything off of that for a second, Mantachie, those storms are a little bit weaker that way. Tremont, I would say the same thing. Those have gone through a bit of a weakening phase in the last little bit as well. Not a ton of movement on either of those. Academy there. We'll give you a storm track on that as we kind of bring it here and advance that toward around the Bird community, Detroit. This is moving a lot slower. We'll say 10 miles per hour is probably enough, but Bird, we're going at right about 643 for you, 706 there, closer to Barnesville as it moves northeast at about, southeast, at about 15 miles per hour, maybe not even quite that fast. And everything else there on the Alabama side has gone through a downswing. Yep. So that's kind of where we stand as of now, 6:30, as we wrap up Mississippi Live weather at 6. What we're going to do is we're going to do a test. So I'm going to bring Gabe over here real quick, and we're going to see what breaks. So this should be fun. And I'm going to go around and just start unplugging things. And
Making me the face of the downfall right now.
no, yeah, but so have a fun face on when it locks up. So we'll find out here in just a second as we unplug some stuff. Ready, set, go. Okay, is everything still working?
Are we still up?
We're still up. That's a good sign. Okay.
You can let us know in the chat if we're still going.
So no, I see everything up there
I think
so
it
far.
is, yeah.
So I'm going to go unplug everything in here too. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. We've got everything unplugged.
Something went off on the IFB.
I think the
mics.
IFB went off. The earpiece went off. So I got to make sure to
yeah.
plug that in.
The mics are still working though.
The mics are still working. Okay, so I can't hear you. You can't hear me. I think that's a reasonable thing to lose, except for we would lose if we were talking to a chaser. We wouldn't be able to hear them. So we'll plug that in. But everything else seems to be working. Even the lights are working. Yeah?
You did it all right, Matt.
I don't know about that, but let's make sure key stays up. I'm going to flip off the house lights here.
Spooky.
That's still pretty good. Hey, look at that. That's crazy. Okay.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Nice throwback phrase there. Okay, well, good. And let's see how long it says we got. Now, one of these says I've got 5 minutes on this, so I'm going to need a little more battery power than that. So the other one says I have 10. Yeah, so, okay. Well, that's good. That's a good sign.
Appreciate everyone in chat letting us know that it's still working. Yeah, just keep sending it so that way we make sure nothing's off.
Okay, hold on a second. I'll go plug in the earpiece, make sure we've got that. And then we can wrap this up. Now, see, that one didn't kick in. Oh, there's one more I need to unplug. Hold on.
Fingers crossed.
Will you unplug those? Hey, unplug those two out there again, please. Thank you. Appreciate that, Caleb. Okay, we got to unplug this one over here, too. Ready, set. Okay. See what we've got. See, that one's got 27 minutes left on it. And the lights, the lights only have 2, so we'll lose lights pretty quickly, it looks like. Everything still on?
It's still working.
Hey. Okay. So I definitely need more power, but at least it'll take a small one so that then we can get something up and going. Actually, hold on a second. We're going to try something here while we're doing it.
We're going through an entire experiment. So
yes.
I hope you're enjoying
Love
this.
a good
Behind
experiment.
the scenes.
Okay, so what I'm going to then do, and I'll tell everyone at home what I'm going to do, might as well.
Yeah, join us.
We're going to lose lights in a minute, but what I'm going to do...
We should have made this a Halloween special for losing lights.
I'm going to go live on here, and I'm going to see actually if I can force this to be the main feed. So stick with us a second here as I'm trying to do this. I think we can do this. Now we're going to lose lights before. How long does it say I have left on lights over there?
I think 3 minutes.
3 minutes, that's not bad. Oh wait, lights would be back there in the other room. Isn't this fun? Why is it that I'm the only one that thinks this is fun?
We're enjoying it. Hey,
Such a
everyone in
lot.
chat is eating this up. So.
This is one that says 0 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be the lights. That's going to go here in a second.
Someone said we are living dangerously.
Well, I would much rather live dangerously.
Yeah, now rather than when it really needs to be ready.
Okay, let me make sure that is the correct key on this. Give me a moment for those folks. There might be a temporary jump on this. Let me see here. I think that's correct. Give me just a moment here. It's going to go out for just a moment, and then it should come back.
So don't leave, guys.
So
we're not going anywhere.
Next. Toggle that on. Okay, it will go for just a second here, so give me just a moment. As I cancel, stop the stream down. Oops, hold on. There went the lights. Uh-oh. My TV here, Matt. Oh, because I lost power to one of those, and so it moved the monitor over here. Okay, well, that does me no good. How do I get back down to here? Okay, come on. Okay, we're going to go and plug the lights back in over there. So that's going to cause a problem with that. We need more power for the lights. Well, I was literally like a second away from trying the next thing.
I think we're up.
Oh, no, we're still broadcasting. It's plugged back in. Okay. You might have to press the on button back again.
I don't know. I kind of like the no lights. It gives us a tan.
Some of us like me never. There we go. Everything looks like most things are coming back. Okay. And boom, that's all back. But now it's misaligned which screen that's supposed to be on. That's no fun. And see, that completely messed up my thing here. So I need vMix screen 1 to be... Oh, I might not be able to complete this. I don't know what that is.
I think that's my wallet tracker.
Oh, okay. Okay, I might not be able to complete this because I did not anticipate that this is going to take over the big screen in here, and in doing so, I can't get vMix back down. So that's, how would I, yeah, because it's behind it, so they're both on the same screen, and so I can't bring that back off it. Okay, well, so we learned that there's at least one, if we lose the lights, then we're going to have, hold on, but that hasn't turned back on, has it?
Mm-mm.
No, okay, so you're going to have to power it back on, right?
Well, I pressed the button and then it gave me a counter and it said everything.
Yeah, but it's doing no, oh, we got to flip the switch. So after that, you have to toggle the switch back on, right? There we go.
You gotta hold it.
Okay, then after that comes back on. Oh, because what happened is we lost the monitor over there, and that's why. And then it changed this monitor to the other one. Well, you know. Hold on. So you lost your background there? What did we? Oh, because that one went dead.
I'm in a void now.
Oh yeah, no. So we lost. So I think we lost one of the computers over here. Hold on. So clearly we've got about 6 or 7 minutes to get stuff figured out. Is basically what it comes down to. Okay, both those computers are still okay.
Yeah, I think the background is working its way back.
Oh, and we lost, that's what it is. We lost the monitors. So then when we lose the monitors, we lose the screen capture. Okay, so we're going to count this one as a failure, which is fine.
We had little moral victories along the way.
Yeah, okay, but so clearly we're going to need a little more battery power for that one. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and shut this one down. And
thank you, Annalise. The weather is getting bad. It's just the weather looks like it's getting rough.
It is. I just have to figure out how to put everything else back together. I bet that big monitor sucked some power down too. That's probably part of it. So anyway, okay, we will see y'all here at 10 o'clock as we put the pieces back together.
This is entertaining.
It is. Now the question is can I get my computer up there off of that monitor and then, actually, I know what I gotta do. You just have to power down the monitor. Watch this. If we power down the monitor, it forces everything back to the main screen. And then with everything back on the main screen, then we can put it back together. I don't know if I've ever told people this. So my favorite Star Trek movie, we're going somewhere with this. My favorite Star Trek movie is Wrath of Khan because it's the best one. But anyway, there's a moment in that movie after they have been hit by Khan and his ship. Have you ever seen this movie?
Oh, I know Khan, yeah.
You know Khan? Anyway, William Shatner puts on his glasses and he starts trying to break stuff down behind the scenes. He's going here, he's going to figure something out. He's got he comes up with this behind the scenes wicked crazy way to survive. And I love that because I sometimes feel that that's the most entertaining part of my job is when everything's broken, we're going to find a way to fix it. We're going to find a way to get through. Anyway.
And better now than on a severe weather day.
Absolutely, absolutely. I guarantee you though, that if Mrs. Lopon is watching, she's like,
dinner.
She's like, wrap it up. So we'll see if I can get my stuff back here. Let's turn that monitor, turn that off over there, and I'll turn the monitor off over here. Turn the lights off, and I think we should force everything back to the right screen at that point.
Turn the lights off?
Yeah, I think that's probably my best bet is to turn the lights off because then.
Like all lights?
No, just the switch over there because I can't even turn the stream off at this point. until I get everything back onto this screen here, I can't turn the stream off. As ridiculous as that is. Okay, turn that off. Here we are. Okay, so
the weather is going to be isolated storms. In case, for those who did not tune into the forecast and who joined and are wondering what is going on right now.
Display settings, that's what I need. And I'll be like, nope, I want everything to duplicate this monitor.
Yeah, Matt, someone hire Matt for a Star Trek movie. So if they ever bring a resurgence of it, then I think he might be Weatherman by day, Star Trek by night.
Yep, okay, so this is about to all go black as I shut down my main thing here. So we will see you all at 10 o'clock. It'll take a minute till we fix this on the channel. Bye. Actually, no, hold on. I might be able to.
Are we still here? See, I'm just the awkward face over here. Like, yeah.
You'll be like, why are you doing this to me, Matt? Sorry. Okay, bye. Oh, it's not going to let me close it. I'm going to have to control it.
So we're still here. Okay, not bye. Another pump fake.
Oh, man. I broke more than I thought we did. That's cool. Okay. Now, I believe this time is probably the time we actually do go. So wait, bye. Okay.